It looks like there's more to Angie Stone's tragic passing than we originally thought. Jaguar Wright has just come forward with some shocking claims that suggest something much deeper was going on behind the scenes. And if there's one thing we know about Jaguar, it's that she doesn't hold back when it comes to exposing the hidden truths powerful people in the industry would rather keep buried. This time, Jaguar is alleging that Angie Stone's death wasn't an accident at all, but rather the result of foul play orchestrated by influential figures in the music world. Her claims come just weeks after Angie herself took to social media, boldly stating that she was going to war with some very powerful people who had been stealing from her for years. She declared that she was done staying silent. Then, suddenly, she was involved in a car crash, one that tragically took only her life. Now, Jaguar is raising serious questions about what really happened, and she has a lot to say. So let's break it all down. Angie Stone's journey. Born on December 18, 1961, Angie Stone grew up in a home where faith and music were deeply intertwined. Her parents introduced her to gospel at a young age, and the church quickly became a foundation for her musical journey. She developed her voice and stage presence singing regularly at First Nazareth Baptist Church in Columbia, South Carolina. Her father, a member of a gospel quartet, often took her to see live performances by top gospel groups like the Singing Angels and the Gospel Keynotes. These experiences not only nurtured her talent but deepened her love for music. As she grew older, Angie expanded beyond gospel and became one of the defining voices of the neo-soul movement. Her rich, soulful voice and distinct style resonated with audiences and inspired a new wave of artists like Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, Lyfe Jennings, and even Mariah Carey. But her contributions didn't stop there. Angie left an undeniable mark on both hip-hop and R&B, shaping the sound of modern music across genres. By the time she was just 16, Angie was already making history. She teamed up with Cheryl the Pearl Cook and Gwendolyn Blondie Chisholm to form The Sequence, the first female hip-hop group. They quickly signed with Sugar Hill Records and released hits like Funk You Up. That song was more than just a chart success. It was influential. Dr. Dre sampled it, and it later inspired Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars. But here's where things get messy. The Sequence was never properly credited or compensated for their work. Angie and her group even filed a lawsuit against Mark Ronson for copyright infringement, trying to reclaim what was rightfully theirs. Her evolution and industry struggles. Angie's journey didn't stop with The Sequence. She went on to join the hip-hop and electrofunk group Mantronix before fronting the R&B trio Vertical Hold, which gave us classics like Seems You're Much Too Busy. Her solo career took off soon after, bringing fans unforgettable hits like No More Rain, Brother, I Wish I Didn't Miss You, and I Wanna Thank YA. She released 11 studio albums and collaborated with legends like Prince and Lenny Kravitz. She even played saxophone in Lenny's band. One of her most significant contributions came behind the scenes. Angie was instrumental in shaping D'Angelo's sound on his groundbreaking Brown Sugar and Voodoo albums, contributing vocals, songwriting, and production. At the time, they were also romantically involved, but their relationship was rocky and ultimately toxic. Despite everything she did to elevate his music, D'Angelo downplayed her influence, refusing to fully credit her contributions, something that deeply hurt her and contributed to their falling out. And D'Angelo wasn't the only one who shortchanged her. Angie once opened up about how Mary J. Blige released a song that originated from Angie and D'Angelo's sessions, Everyday, under a new title, Paradise, without giving Angie proper credit. Then there was Jill Scott, whose label allegedly had her watching Angie closely, emulating everything from her style to her stage presence. On top of that, Angie's own management team failed her. Whether due to incompetence or neglect, they missed major opportunities, including a role in the #1 ladies detective agency, which eventually went to Jill Scott. That could have been a career-defining moment for Angie, but her team dropped the ball. The legal battle that never happened. Just before her passing, Angie was preparing to take legal action against Universal Music Group over unpaid royalties. She had finally reached her breaking point after years of being taken advantage of. According to her, everyone in her professional circle, her management, her label, had failed her. She claimed they had pocketed millions while she worked tirelessly without receiving her fair share. She was ready to speak out, to fight back. But before she could go public with her lawsuit, she was gone. Jaguar Wright is now calling foul play. According to her, Angie's death was no accident, and she's not the only one asking questions. Fans, colleagues, and industry insiders are starting to take a closer look at the timing of everything. Was Angie silenced just as she was about to expose something bigger? Only time and a real investigation will tell.
Else was sitting back collecting checks off of her hard work.
That one of the biggest companies that I was with, Universal Music. It's the second part of the ugly truth. We began to research things to check on my royalties and my statements and things that of that nature, only to find out a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. as I begin to find out things that I never had to look into, because when you hire a team of people that to some degree supposed to have your back, you're thinking that they're getting it all together for you. You know, that's why, you know, I respect Oprah Winfrey in that respect when she said, do your own research. Angie Stone, the celebrity, that I let a lot of important things slip through the cracks only because I didn't know any better. I worked very hard to take care of my kids as a single mother, and I'm being transparent. My kids' fathers just were not doing what they're supposed to do. So I had to step up and go in and do everything that I needed to do for my family, which is why I worked so hard, which is why I traveled so much, which is why I did shows, because at the end of the day, after 40-something years in the business, I'm like, well, why? Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered the songs. All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. People that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I am truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. See, I'm not an attorney. I don't know everything. What I learned how to do was go out, work hard, get paid, come home, pay my bills, take care of my family. That part. The legal side, when you hire attorneys and managers and agents, they're supposed to make sure the gray area over there that they're in the driver's seat for, they're supposed to make sure you're taken care of. And even though they were taking care of themselves, they thought very little of taking care of me. And I know because I've seen it with my own eyes. So I'm just here to let you know, one way or the other, Universal Music, you're going to have to give up my coins.
The fact that Angie Stone was so outspoken about calling out the people who wronged her has left fans with a lot of questions, especially when it comes to whether there might be a connection between her fatal accident and the unpaid royalties she was fighting for. Let's be honest, it wouldn't be the first time an artist mysteriously lost their life after going up against powerful forces in the music industry. This business has a dark history of silencing those who dare to challenge the status quo, and with Angie preparing to take legal action, many can't help but wonder if her death was truly accidental or something more sinister. What's raising even more eyebrows is how severe the accident was, yet Angie was the only person who didn't survive. To be clear, no one is wishing harm on anyone else, but for some people, the math just isn't mathing. The circumstances feel off. Some even speculate that Angie may have already passed before the crash occurred, which only deepens the mystery and suspicion surrounding her untimely death. According to Jaguar Wright, there's definitely more going on than we've been told. She claims Angie was allegedly silenced, targeted because she was on the verge of exposing some very powerful individuals in the industry. And if Jaguar's claims are true, then this story may be far from over.
What do they want?
What do you mean? They want their payment. They want their pound of flesh. They want you to keep feeding the system. Doesn't matter how hard she worked for it. That's not her money. That's their money. That's what they do. They've been robbing me for years.
Yep.
They stole more money from me than they stole from Angie. I can't stop thinking about Nick Carter. And Aaron Carter, I can't stop thinking. Brother in the Illuminati, brother not in the Illuminati. Brother in the Illuminati commits all kinds of heinous crimes against women, and he's okay, but his brother's gone. And all he wanted was his money so he could push on. Like, how many of these things have to happen in front of the public? Of course they're going to attack, I'll be sure. Of course they're going to attack me. Of course they're going to attack anybody who's interested in the truth. Of course they're going to come at us really hard for that first 72 hours and make sure we stop posting, or at least get us flagged from being able to go live, so nobody thinks about the details of the fact that we just watch Angie Stone get moved around in real time on her son's.
Child, this is wild. But honestly, with everything we've learned about the industry and the powerful people running it, maybe we shouldn't be so surprised. Still, it's a lot to take in. Anyway, you'll let me know how you feel about this in the comments, and don't forget to check out the next video.